Well, the 2024 Ram Revolution that we've heard and talked about so much is finally here. Just a couple weeks before the LA Auto Show, the Ram Revolution is set to be finally revealed. And in this video, we're going to talk about everything you can expect from Stellantis' first electric truck and why it's the perfect time to start paying attention, especially if you're in the market for a new electric truck and don't feel like waiting. Stay tuned for more. All right, first things first, let's kind of set the stage. What are the other trucks on the market? What's competing with this new Ram Revolution? Now, I would start this list with the Cybertruck, but let's be for real, I don't know if we'll ever see that. It looks like it's still testing, popping up little, glimpses of it here and there, but we're going to leave it off the list for now just because it's seeming like the truck that never was. So the first thing on my list is going to be the Rivian R1T. Something you've definitely heard about. It is about $1,000 if you want to reserve one of those today. However, it will be about maybe a year or even 2 years before you even see one. Not only that, they recently bumped up the prices. So just to put your foot in the door starts at around $75,000 for the base version. Now, granted, the base version of the Rivian is pretty impressive, but it's not cheap. Moving along is the Ford Lightning, which I'm laughing as I say it because especially if you're not reserved, even the people who are reserved are having a hard time placing their order, especially at a trim level they want. I mean, if you want one of these, you're going to have to easily pay between 10 to maybe even 30,000 over market just to get behind the wheel of one of these trucks. And that's if you can find them. And I mean, if you are a reservation holder, you can only buy the Lariat or the Platinum right now. So it's really hard to find these as well. So especially if you don't have a reservation already, it's hard to even consider this. Now, the third thing on the list is the GMC Hummer truck. And while you could technically still reserve this, they've only made, what's the number here? 371 of these. So this is even more elusive than the Lightning we were talking about. And not only that, to get in the door on this, you're in the $90,000 to $100,000 range, and that's without any markup. So another very hard to find truck. And if you're catching the theme, all these are hard to get. Although the next one on the list, the Silverado EV, you can still reserve that. While the reservations have piled up, and it would be, maybe a kind of a shot in the dark of if you'd have a chance to get one soon or not, you could still technically reserve it, and the specs look pretty good. So I really actually recommend checking out a Silverado if you're in the market right now. Although, again, it's going to be tough. However, it won't be tough if you're starting today and you're considering the Ram Revolution. You have a chance if you start following this right now, which, hey, that's a great reason to stay subscribed. We're going to be following every EV truck news we can handle here. So please consider subscribing today. But we're going to follow all of the steps up to, placing your reservation and everything that comes with ordering a Ram Revolution. And we'll follow the specs as they come out. So all that fun stuff we'll be able to handle. And what's cool is you see, let's say, early Rivian drivers, early Lightning drivers, people who were day one reservation holders and they're behind the wheel right now. You could be that for the Ram Revolution, which is pretty cool, and it's a good time to hop on board at this particular vehicle. So prices for this Ram Revolution, by the way, that name is not concrete, but it's what Stellantis has been calling this new Dodge electric truck. So we're going to call it the Ram Revolution until we get a better name, which I would be okay if they do pick a better name. Now, this thing is pretty impressive. They're estimating prices to have one starting around $47,000. Now, this is far from official, but this is what a couple articles, which of course will be linked in the description, have sourced as the starting price, going all the way up to, I have $90K on here, which is in line with the other electric trucks on the market. I wouldn't even be surprised if that goes a little higher for, the top of this thing. And not only that, the specs look really impressive. So let's talk about it. Now, as I mentioned before, the CEO, Mike Koval, announced that the They're calling it a concept still, but the 2024 concept of the electric Ram is to debut before November 18th. November 18th is the LA Auto Show. So will they have one there to view? Maybe that would be pretty cool. No one knows for sure, but they did say we'll see something before then. And that's why we're getting excited. They could even have the presentation where you can reserve one. So we got to keep an eye out because it could come and it could come fast. And as I mentioned before, maybe Ford broke your heart and you couldn't get the trim you want. I mean, I feel you on that one. That's been kind of a disaster. Maybe you've been waiting forever for a Rivian, or you don't want to put $1,000 down and wait 2 years, or the Silverado is still too far out. Well, so is the Ram. But maybe if you're in that limbo, it is a good time to maybe consider putting a reservation down on the Ram when it becomes available. That is if you like what it looks like. So up on the screen now, we have a bunch of renders and they all seem to be kind of cohesive. So it tells me that it will probably look similar to this. Even Ram themselves has released a couple shadowy images that we see here. And it kind of mimics what we saw in the Silverado EV, where they're definitely showing that it's stepping into the future while keeping some traditional truck features. And of course, it'll have work truck availability at the lower trim, so you won't, you still get the functionality that you need with an actual truck to do truck thing. Speaking of, the biggest complaint with the Rivian and the Ford Lightning, which are on the market now, is it's hard to do truck things. And that's a totally reasonable, thing to complain about. If you have to tow for more than, 200 miles, for instance, it's tough to consider an electric truck. And I totally get that. However, this is the first electric truck, that's actually going to beat what Silverado said they do. Now, the Silverado said they'd be getting 400 miles of range, which is impressive in itself, but we're hearing 500 for the Ram Revolution, which, if that's true, and let's say it's cut in half for towing and you can get about 250 while you tow, that's doable. That is a real contender. Not only that, we'll talk a little later, there's actually leaks for a sort of a hybrid range extender to maybe get even more than that, really making this a contender. Now, Ram does think this will stand out. In fact, they've quoted, "We're standing back, we're watching the mistakes and successes of our competitors to know exactly what to do to put forward a perfect electric truck." Now, that's something that the customers and fans have all given feedback on, reportedly, Dodge was saying, and that's cool. So we know that they're going to come in swinging hard with this truck. So those of you who waited and have been, I've get a lot of comments, actually, of you guys saying, I'm really interested in the Ram Electric, and I don't even want to touch a Ford Lightning or a Rivian. Well, you might have been right, because it's looking like the specs could be great, and maybe the parts shortage is kind of weaning out by the time these are rolling out, and it could be the perfect time to buy a truck. I'm trying to be optimistic here. And another thing that makes this great, well, let's talk charging. The Ram EV is The Ram EV is rumored to be built on an 800 volt architecture, which is awesome. When you look at something like the Lightning, it's on a 400 volt, and there's complaints of how fast it can charge, for instance. So that's going to be key for this. If it has the range and the fast charging, it's going to be, like I keep saying it's going to be a real contender. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this because it's still a little unclear. I took this from Motor Trend's article, again, leaked in the description, where they talk about how a while back Dodge released this kind of leak about the Ram having an optional range extender where it uses this hybrid engine. Let me read. It says the Ram Range Electric Paradigm Breaker. Man, that's a mouthful. And it could recharge the batteries, but might not power the wheels. So I think it's designed to, again, just replenish your range, where then your actual battery is doing the work. And I think that's what it means. But again, this is pretty cryptic as now. It's just cool to know that it exists. So if you are really into wanting an electric vehicle and a towing is a must, and you could get this as an add-on and just all of a sudden range is not an issue, dare I say it again, it could be a game changer. And as for towing, it's supposed to just go right along with what everyone else is doing, and it's right around 10,000 pounds. And to me, it's gonna have to if it wants to compete. So I find it hard to believe that it's anything less than, 9,000 pounds just to be able to compete with, we look at the Rivian, the Lightning, and the Silverado EV all saying 10,000 pounds, the Rivian saying 11. It's gonna have to be there to compete. So I think we can expect that. And all in all, I'm just really excited to see this truck. I mean, we've been waiting for a while. We've seen some leaks, and there's a couple around the corner, and this is one of them that I've been very excited about. We don't know what the interior looks like yet. That's something that we hopefully will get to see on this reveal. But if it's anything like the current Rams that they have out on the market now, the ICE versions, I love the interior of a Ram. They're just a really great. I don't know. I like them. So even if they just copy and pasted what they did similar to the Lightning, you're going to have a really comfortable looking, nice vehicle. So I'm really, really excited about this. But wait, there's more. So while I was digging into this, I found a earlier article where CEO Koval said that he's toying with bringing the concept of a mid-size truck to Ram's dealer show. And this means they're already working on something that they're calling like the Dakota of electric trucks, which was their more mid-sized truck in the past. That could be great. We've been saying for a while, other than the Rivian, everyone's real excited about, an electric Maverick, an electric Ranger. I mean, not as many people mentioning electric Colorado, but it'd be the same thing. So if Dodge kind of comes out and does two of these simultaneously, imagine the ripples they'd put in the ocean. The ripples in the ocean. It'd be cool is what I'm trying to say. So there was rumors of this. It's nothing to get excited for yet, but you never know. So another great reason to stay subscribed, because we'll be on top of it when we learn a little more. Anyway, guys, I really hope you guys appreciated this. I know I'm excited. So if you guys have anything else you want to see, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm going to leave the video here. Bye.